everyone, welcome to Oak and Lamb. My name is Becca Oaks and I am a craft educator and owner here at Oak and Lamb. Today we have a really fantastic video for you. We are going to be talking about 7 pointers for creating the best print then cut projects. Here at Oak and Lamb, print then cut is one of our favorite things about our Cricut. It's one of the favorite features that we use. Print then cut can be used for printable vinyl to make stickers. It can be used with printable heat transfer vinyl to create really amazing wearable pieces similar to this. You could create this with printable heat transfer vinyl. You can also use it to make cards with cardstock and a lot of other materials. But something that is frustrating is when you go to make a print then cut project and it's a little bit off. So we want to teach you our tried and true methods for creating the best print then cut available. Before we get started, I do want to point out if you are wanting to create print then cut projects, you are going to need a printer. The printer that we love is this one right here. It is a Canon Pixma 8220. It's a great printer. The ink is very affordable for it, and it's not a super expensive printer. We have tried different models of printers by Canon in the same Pixma line, anywhere from the 3000 series all the way up to the 9000 series, and have found that all of the printers that we have tried have been really great. Those printers range from $35 all the way up to $300, and honestly, when we would compare the print quality of all of those printers, they were very similar. So just choose one that fits your budget and your needs, and I'm going to talk a little bit about what you need to look for in a printer in just a little bit, but you will need a printer, and then you can also use your Cricut Explorer series or Maker series. If you have the Joy, it does not do print then cut, so unfortunately you will not be able to create projects with that. Maybe just grab an Air 2, the Explorer series, or one of the Maker machines, and we can create amazing projects together. The first point that I want to talk about today, I have touched a little bit on already, and that is choose the correct or right printer. Now, like I said, we do like the Canon printers, but more specifically what you want to look for when you are choosing a printer is a printer with a rear feeding tray option. The reason that you want to look for this is some of the materials that you'll be printing on are a little bit thicker, and if you try to feed from a bottom tray, a lot of times they get stuck and end up jamming your printer. So most importantly, look for a printer that has the rear feeding tray. Now, second, you do want to look for an inkjet printer over a laser printer. There are materials out there that work well with laser printers, but our experience is that the materials for print then cut that we like the most are inkjet compatible. So look for an inkjet printer with the rear feeding tray option. The second thing that you can do in order to improve your print then cut projects is to choose good material. Now, we have done lots of research, lots of testing on materials that we prefer here at Oak and Lamb, and these are our preferences. If you are looking for a printable heat transfer vinyl product, this new fun printable vinyl is top notch. Now, there are other ones out there that we have tried. They're stiff and they feel really stiff on the shirt or whatever you happen to be transferring it to, and that's not comfortable to wear. Another problem with other materials that we have found is that the color does not stay in the material well, so when you go to wash it, it will fade very quickly. This new fun printable vinyl for dark fabrics is our preference. They also have one for light fabrics. However, we choose the dark fabric option for all fabrics that we use, dark and light. The difference is this piece right here is white, and for light fabrics, it is see-through. So it doesn't really matter that you're using this on light materials. This is just our preference for both. You can see here the blue lines on the back. That is the carrier sheet. You will weed your printed vinyl off of that. I just wanted to point that out. We have had some people call in before and were having issues, and that was one of the issues. They didn't realize that the blue backing was actually a backing. They were printing on the wrong side, so I do want to point that out. But definitely follow the instructions here for heat and time and what materials you're using. This comes with all of them. So you can reference that. You don't have to try to remember it. And we do also like a heat press over a household iron with these. Now for printable stickers, we like these two products. Cricut makes a printable vinyl that actually is pretty decent. The only thing that I don't love about it is that it feels like a thinner material than what I would want for a sticker. So that's why we have chosen these. This is Zakoto Vinyl Glossy Paper. And this brand also carries a matte finish if you wanted a matte sticker. This claims to be water resistant, and we have done some tests on it, and honestly, it fared better than the ones that claim to be completely waterproof. This prints really beautifully. It has a wonderful glossy finish. It cuts very nicely, and so we really love it and the price point. Check it out. We will link it for you below. Also, we like the Oracal printable vinyl. This is a great option if you want to be putting your stickers on things that will be outside, exposed to the elements, or like on a tumbler or water bottle that you're going to be putting in the dishwasher, because you print on this sheet, which is the Oracal 1917. So you print on this, and then you place this guard, which is the Oracal 236, on top of it. So it's sort of like a film on top that just protects the printed part. Now this is available in glossy and it is available in matte. I like both of them. My preference for ease of use is the matte. For whatever reason, it's easier for me to apply it down than this one. But both look absolutely beautiful when you have created a sticker. If you're wanting to create a print and cut image on cardstock, we prefer an 80 to 100 pound cardstock. You can see that's pretty thick. Anything thicker than that will not go through your printer very well, and anything thinner just seems cheap. So we try to go for this 80 to 100 pound cardstock, and it is available in the 8.5 by 11 inch dimensions, and you can get a whole ream of it on Amazon for a very nice price. Okay, the third piece of advice for creating amazing print and cut projects is use a clear image. So when you are creating print and cut images or print and cut products, you're going to use a PNG, which is a pixel-based file. And pixel-based files, if they are too small and you try to make them bigger, will get super grainy and pixelated like this one. If you use SVG files, you can do that. You just have to flatten them in order to create the print and cut image. The advantage of using an SVG and then flattening it is that it is a vector-based file, which is scalable very, very big, and it eliminates all of the pixelating. However, both of these are PNGs. One was saved at a higher resolution. One was smaller and saved at a lower resolution. And when I import them into Design Space, you can see this one is nice and crisp and clear, and this one is blurry and grainy. Make sure when you are creating print and cut projects that your images are very clear, otherwise you're not gonna have a beautiful outcome. Our next point is learn when to use the add bleed option for printing your print and cut image. Now, before I get started and show you where to select that, I want to tell you a little bit about the add bleed option. The add bleed option is going to add extra color all the way around your image so that when your machine goes to cut it, it will have a little bit of extra color and give you a little bit of leeway if your calibration on your machine is a little bit off. So it'll have a little bit extra black all the way around here. And if it cuts like a 1/16 of an inch off or something like that, then you're not gonna notice it as much because there was extra black to fill in. If you don't do that, then if it cut a 1/16 of an inch off, it would have white on the outside and you would notice that. Now, let's size this down and I'll show you where to change or turn on the add bleed option. Before I move any further, if you are new to Print and Cut has size restrictions in Design Space. You can see right here, this is a 40-inch image by 61-inch image. And right here, there's a little error button letting us know that this size is way too big. it will not work, it will not print. And if you forget the size limitations in Design Space, it does tell you. You do have to fit within a 6.75 by 9.25 limit. Let's size this down and I'll go ahead and show you the add bleed option. After you click Make It, you'll see your image on this piece of paper, and then there's a black registration mark all the way around. All of that is normal. You'll press Continue, and you're going to go ahead and press Send to Printer. This is where we add our add bleed option. It is default on. A lot of people like to turn it off because they don't understand what it is. Most cases, I leave it on. So if you wanted to turn it off, you just push the little toggle, and then you can push it to turn it back on. The fifth tip for creating amazing print and cut projects is to increase your print quality. Now, right here from this print setup, you can't do that. I'm going to teach you how easy it is to turn that on. So what you're going to do is select this toggle button, the Use System dialog box, and then we're going to press Print. And when we do that, underneath Design Space, you will have to minimize. The System dialog box will come up. And this is where you increase your quality from normal to best. Now what that does is eliminate some of the lines and things like that that you might see in your print. If you're seeing lines in your print, then you probably either need to clean your print head, you need to maybe calibrate your print machine or printer, or you need to increase your print quality to best. The other thing that we want to do while we're here on this print dialog box is to go ahead and tell our printer that we will be feeding our material from our rear tray. A bonus point for making sure that you're creating amazing print and cut projects is to definitely check that you have the correct material setting on your printer. This is a high gloss material, and we also use cardstocks that are matte and very absorbent. And so you need to go back, change back and forth on those settings so that the correct amount of ink is released. The glossier materials do not need as much ink because they don't absorb it as much, whereas the matte and cardstock type materials do absorb more, so your printer will release more ink. Bonus tip number 2 for creating amazing print and cut projects is after your material has printed, let it set in the output tray for a little bit of time in order to achieve adequate dry time. If your hands have a little moisture or something like that on them and you grab it too soon, you risk actually rubbing the material and maybe smearing the ink a little bit. So make sure it has adequate dry time before you remove it from that tray. The 6th step to ensure that you have gorgeous print and cut products is to make sure that your area is well lit, meaning you have adequate light on your machine. The reason that you need that is your machine has to use a little sensor to read these registration marks. And if your room happens to be too dimly lit, or if there is too much light on your machine and it's reflecting badly, it will affect the sensors and the readability. If your room is not well lit and your machine cannot read the registration marks, then Design Space will give you an error that the registration marks cannot be read. So you'll need to make changes at that point. Third bonus tip for this is if that happens, a lot of times with these glossier pages, the registration marks are not being read because the light is reflecting off of it. So there are 2 things that you can do to avoid this. One is that you can take matte Scotch tape and place it over the registration marks, which makes it a little easier for your machine to read. The other is that you can take an eraser and erase over top just to kind of dull around the registration marks. Both of those have proven to be effective when that error comes up. I'm going to weed this so that you can see what I'm about to talk about. This doesn't look too bad. However, if you pay attention, you can see there is extra black here, less black right here. And you can see here that there's almost no black, and we do still have some right here. If I had not turned the add bleed option on, then there would have been a lot of white left right here. So that option saved us. However, my seventh and last point is to create amazing print and cut projects, make sure that your machine is calibrated. Your Cricut machine, that is. And so there is an easy tutorial, a step-by-step process in Design Space, and we'll have videos on this a little bit later you can look for. How to easily calibrate your machine. You will need a printer in order to do that, but it does affect your outcome. I hope you enjoyed this video with all of these tips for print and cut projects. If you did enjoy it, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel here. Also, I want to invite you to click the link below and find out what Oak and Lamb is all about. If you are interested in becoming part of the flock, which is the best crafting community in the industry, we would love to have you be a part. Click the link below and send us an email if you have any questions about it. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. We'll see you here another day for another video.